So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Aston Villa 2, Brighton 2, and Villa's 2024 finishes with a draw, much like a lot of 2024 has been, where we snatched 1 point from the jaws of 3. You know, you go 2-1 up in a game like that and just sit back, nonchalantly play, kick the ball back to them, make a hero out of people like Van Heck and Baleba, and give them a platform really to attack and attack and attack, and you're going to give away chances. I'm really annoyed about this game tonight. Really annoyed. Because this is a feature. It's not a bug. This is a feature of our play. It's not a bug. We have zero interest in playing messy football. What I mean, look, we play a lot of messy football. Jesus, don't get me wrong. You know, passing the ball today wasn't great, specifically in the final third. We weren't great. We were ponderous. We created chances. We were lacking confidence. We were lacking that touch, that little bit of sparkle. But in defense, like, we just shoot ourselves in the feet so many times. The opening goal, just like what are people doing for that opening goal? What Diego Carlos massively out of position. Look, guys, you know he's not my favorite player in the Aston Villa team, and he's just not made for this system. He's not made for this team. He's not made for this league. Diego Carlos. And look, a lot of people would say it wasn't his fault for that first goal, and it wasn't, but he's hugely out of position. Ezri Konsa, just deal with the ball, man. Just deal with it. When the ball is coming out of the sky, just deal with it. It's as simple as that, you know. You don't have to let the ball bounce. In fact, you don't let the ball bounce. Nobody should be letting the ball bounce like that. But we do. And then, you know, we're 1-0 down after 12 minutes and we have to chase a game. We get a penalty that I thought it was a penalty that wasn't given by VAR. And then we get another penalty, which, you know, we've had them given against us, but I don't agree that there are penalties given for us. When Morgan Rogers gets kicked in the box. Now we come back to 1-1, then we get that goal that we've been conceding, that goal directly after half time for Morgan Rogers. We get that goal and we go 2-1 up. And then we had a little bit of a spell after that for maybe about 15 minutes, got to about the 68th minute. They bring on fresh legs, 3 new attacking players, and then we just look a pale shadow of ourselves again, you know. A lot of it boils down to just leadership, you know, leadership in the field. The goal they scored to equalise it was a cracking goal. Like, don't take anything away from that. Brighton played really, really well in this game. Played super well. Lamptey's finish there was brilliant. Like, I genuinely find it difficult criticising a whole lot of people for the concession of the second goal, other than we should have been a bit more forceful in our play. Up to, like, we gave them chance after chance after chance after chance, and it was wave after wave for about 7 or 8 minutes prior to them scoring. So that's the downside. There was no one going down, cutting out momentum. You know, the dark arts that myself and Paddy spoke about previously. There's nobody, you know, just getting the ball and just booting it out over the stand. You know, just creating a lull point in the game. There was none of that when we were under the cosh. Arguably in the first half, when we were putting Brighton under the cosh, they had players go down. You know, there was a lot of yellow cards given out. There's a lot of frees given out in the game. As a whole, there was a lot of yellow cards given out in the first half. And, you know, we look too honest, and then honesty leads to mistakes, and then lack of confidence, and not being able to see out games like we used to be able to see them out. And that's frustrating. And like, as I said, the second goal, or the goal that they scored, the goal that Lamptey scores, it's a good goal. Like, it's a really good goal. Like, he catches that as clean as he's ever going to catch the ball. and it screams into the bottom corner. I know we go back and everyone probably has somebody they can blame for that goal or whatever, but realistically speaking, the blame for that goal is a collective team blame for the 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes prior to that when we couldn't get out of our own way and all we were doing was just like lumping the ball forward and hoping that it stuck up top. Yeah, it's annoying. Very, very annoying. There's a lot needed of this team in January. There is. We brought on substitutes today and they weren't good. Maatsen was great. Maatsen was good down at left hand side, but Dina wasn't poor. You know, Maatsen was good. I don't know, Nana again. It wasn't great. He really wasn't great when he came on. He was actually decidedly poor when he came on. I thought Ross Barkley are one or two decent bits and pieces, but he got caught in possession and got very lucky when the ball squirted out and went forward exactly to the player we were trying to play it to. Ollie Watkins missed that chance in the box. You know, everybody here knows I'm a huge Watkins fan. You can't miss those chances. Can't miss those chances if you're going to be number one striker. Like he puts it 10 foot over the bar from probably the penalty spot. You know, the ball drops to him. He's able to take it down. I know he has a snatch at it, but you get over it. If it hits a defender, grand. Nobody's talking about it being a glaring chance. If it hits a defender, it's all great block. But when you put it 10 yards over the bar, it's not good enough. A lot of times the ball came into his feet. He was running down the channels. He tried to cut back. Have a swing at it with your left foot. You know, it looks awful. The having to consistently slow it down. When you get the ball in the box, and the same can be said for Leon Bailey. The same can be said for Rodgers when he isn't centrally. When he isn't central, and I know his goal wasn't central, but we tend to do that. We get the ball, we run down the channels, and we have to cut back against ourselves and wait for someone coming to the penalty spot. And you know, last year we were talking about everybody knows we're going to do this and they can't defend it. Well, no, they can. Do we have anything else? What's next for Aston Villa? What's the next evolution from that? It's galling because we need defensive reinforcements somewhere. I don't know. Am I convinced by any of the three centre halves we saw today? From a defensive point of view, I don't know. Am I? Like I just don't think that. Like I would upgrade on Diego Carlos tomorrow morning. I know people here like him, and that's fine. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not. Look, this is just my opinion on it. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not trying to have an argument with anybody. But I think that there are better defenders out there that are more suited to the Premier League, more suited to the way we play. I think he's an unsteadying influence in this back four. I also think Pau Torres is going to be out now for a while. And I also think playing Ezri Konsa right back, as everybody knows, ain't for me. We've suggested it because we know that that's what Unai Emery is going to do, but it ain't for me anymore. Playing Ezri Konsa right back. There's work to do. There's work to do because we also need work up top. We need work and creative. Like Morgan Rodgers is out for Leicester, and I haven't a bull's notion who's going to carry the ball forward. Lads, that Leicester game is going to be the build-up in that game is going to be excruciatingly slow. We don't have anyone that's going to carry the ball in that Leicester game. We don't have the maverick ability of John Duran in that game. We're not going to have Rodgers. Like without Rodgers today, God above, we'd be passing the ball around in the centre circle all day long. It's worrying. It's worrying the lack of attacking intent that we have. At times, like what I say is when we get the ball passing, we get our passing crisp and moving around the place, we're good. But any bit of stagnation at all, and it's just too easy to defend. It's too easy to defend. But that Leicester game is going to be really interesting because we're not going to have like the attacking, the forward movement ability is like it has to be Buendia that comes in there. I think it has to be for Rodgers, somebody that moves around a bit, because if he brings in like Jacob Ramsey and plays Bailey on the other side, I don't know what's going to happen, you know, in that, because we're lacking something up top. We're also lacking something at the back. And it's like a win today would have got us to 6th place. 4 points off the top 4. A draw today has us, I think it keeps us where we are. We're 6 points off top 4. You know? Conceding goals in the last 50 minutes comes from both sides of the field. If you don't have anybody that can carry the ball forward, or you don't have anybody that can, like, if you're lumping the ball up to, regardless of who it is, no matter who you're lumping the ball up to, you know, if it doesn't stick up there, you're lambs to the slaughter at the back. And then, as I say, that goal that Tariq Lamptey scores is a cracker of a goal. Like, it's a brilliant goal. It falls to him. He hits it a peach and it goes in the bottom corner. But it's the 7 to 8 to 10 minutes before that that's a problem. No one can get their foot in the ball. We have no attacking impetus. We can't get that ball forward, take it into the corner, get a corner, lull the play from Brighton. It was wave after wave after wave after wave. And that happens in Villa games. We give them, like, whether it's this resting defense that was, that in fairness was good for us last year. Whether it's that has been undone or not, I don't know. I don't have an answer for it, but it's really frustrating. But I think Villa need to bite the bullet and and I don't know how they're bringing reinforcements to the level that you would want in January. Yeah, we're supposed to have signed that 18-year-old essential. I know everybody thinks he's left back, and yes, he's played quite a bit at left back, but he's going to be centre half as he goes older. Yashin guy, Yashin Özkan. Apparently, we've signed him for 8 million, but like he's in the Jelkovic signing. He's not really going to be part of this team probably until 2027, 2020, end of 2026. Like the way he's going to be integrated in, like in the Jelkovic is. We need signings for now. Donald Malin was linked with Aston Villa today. Yeah. Doesn't get enough goals for my liking. Well, hasn't in the last couple of years. I think there's probably better out there than him that Villa could sign. But a very would be astute. Would be better than what we have from a carrying ability point of view. And I don't know. I'm a bit distraught after that because, like, and I'm trying to vary up the talking points, but essentially what this one boils down to again tonight is lack of on-field nous to be able to see out a game, to be able to slow things down, to be able to limit the damage, limit the damages in certain times. When we've got that, when they're having their 10-minute purple patch, we don't seem to be able to slow it down in any way, shape, or form. We don't have somebody on the field that's able to call that shot or rally the troops from that point of view. And it cost us tonight. It cost us, along with poor finishing, poor forward play as well. You know, I've mentioned it there. Like Watkins trying to cut back on his right foot today a couple of times. Like that's like every defender in the league knows that that's going to happen. Have a swing at it with your left foot. Look at John Duran. He's not afraid to miss. Just have a swing at it. Then again, my hypocrisy. Then speaking out the other side of my mouth. Then the one in the box when he has a swing at it with his left foot, he puts it 10 yards over the bar. But still, you should, like, that's a different context. It's a different situation. You don't have defenders running on the back of you. And in fairness, there was no one really on him. There was people in front of him, all right. But there was no one really on his back. Just lost his footing, put it over the bar. And we can't have that. You know, it's those margins that need to be better. We need to be better at that. Like, I thought it was originally Tyrone Mings, and I was going, fair enough, it's centre half. Leaning back, just try to get a foot to it. But striker, need to be better. And I'm sure he's going to be told that by the management. I'm sure he is. Yeah, that's like Brighton played really well today. I thought that Ayari wasn't great during play today. I thought Baleba was making him was doing the work of both of them today. Thought Adringa kind of went out of the game after he scored But then they bring on Mitoma, they bring on Minte, they bring on Georgina Rutter, and could we say we were slow to make changes? Look, it's very easy to point that finger and say that we were. I think what the issue was that we panicked and we filtered all the way back, and we just had no interest in trying to get hold of the game at that stage. And it was wave after wave after wave, and that needs to stop. It just has to. Whether the substitutions, whether you take it out of the players on the field's hands to slow the game down by making substitutions from the sideline, maybe that's what it is. But it didn't happen either way. And then we make subs afterwards, and we bring off Tielemans, we bring off Kamara, who I think, it's fine if you want to bring those off. But Onana doesn't have the impact that we wanted. I've been a bit iffy about him since he's come back from that injury. He just doesn't look right. He looks extremely careless with the ball at his feet. But something needs to happen with our defense, and something needs to happen with our wing play / creativity up top. It just has to. And we're touching on the 1st of January in 2 days' time, and the transfer market opens. And our chances of top 4 are not great currently. They're not non-existent, but they're further away than they were this morning. I think that's fair to say. And we have 2 Champions League games that we need to get a result in one of them to get through automatically. So they're going to be hard fought over the next few days, as well. Next few weeks, should I say, in January. So the club doesn't really have time to think at the moment. I hope they have their thinking done with regards to recruitment done already, and that they'll be able to hit the ground running, I suppose, and get those signings in. Whether we can even afford it, whether PSR allows us to do it or not, I don't know. Maybe we need to see players go out. I have no idea. But today was a bit of a today was a huge annoyance for me. Even though Brighton probably on the balance of play deserved a draw, we need to start getting results when maybe we don't fully deserve them. I thought we were good as well in portions today. Like we had times on top that we should have scored, and we didn't. And that's the problem. We didn't score. We didn't have anybody who came onto the ball and hit it into the ground. We had Leon Bailey hit one or two of them over the bar. We had Boubacar Kamara had an absolute horrendous shot in the first half. We had things like that. We had a good save. We had a good save from was it a Tielemans shot? No, Tielemans. No, it wasn't saved. Tielemans whistled one wide. No, ours didn't go in. And Richard, you're right. Keep the faith. No, I do have faith. I think just with regards to this performance, I'm annoyed at the performance. I really want to see one more centre half come in. I think one more centre half and one more creative player up top, and I know it's a lot to ask for, but we're not like it was telling today that Jadon Philogene-Bides didn't come off the bench, and he brought on Jacob Ramsey, who's been out for the last 7 weeks. And if we needed somebody to carry the ball forward, we didn't have it when he was taking off Leon Bailey. I can understand why he brought it on. I think it just was the right substitution. But we're not getting anything from Philogene-Bides. We're not getting anything from Nedeljkovic. Like we're not getting anything from those guys. We're naming them on the subs bench, but we're not getting anything from them. And if they need to go and get loaned and to be loaned out, so be it. So that we can bring in 2 players, and even if we bring in 2 players on loan, and they have an impact for us, so be it. I don't mind. But I think there's we're naming 7 substitutes, and I know you can't bring 7 substitutes on, but I could have told you that Nedeljkovic and the Philogene were not getting game time today. At halftime, I could have made a pretty good guess they weren't going to be brought on, barring injury to our backline. And I'd like to be in a position whereby I could shuffle from my whole deck. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the transfer window. As I say, Leicester is next up on the 4th. On the 4th, and this coming Saturday. So we will be back with a preview for that. And Team should attention on post-match podcast and everything for that as well. I am going to jump over. It's hard for me just to keep on talking here because I always start repeating myself in these post-match when I don't have Paddy. But I'll be jumping on with Dan Ronaldson on the Claret and Blue in the next 5-10 minutes as well, and hopefully he'll be able to ask questions where I'll be able to formulate actual thoughts as opposed to trying to explain my mood. I think, which is an awful lot easier. But thanks a million to everybody for watching and for listening. Catch us over on the Claret and Blue. It'll be on the next couple of minutes. And yeah, look, there's a bit of soul searching to be done after this. Again, you know, dropping points from a position of authority, something we didn't do last year, and we're doing it as much as we possibly can this year. And it's not a good feeling when we do that, because it always feels like a loss when it happens. But catch me over on Claret and Blue in the next couple of minutes, and we'll continue the conversation over there. But in the meantime, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.